Folks, this is the future. We are the vision. The best future of wrestling podcasting. No one better to listen to than The C Show. I can't tell if that's good or that's bad.
No, that was fantastic.
Okay, good.
I wasn't sure what to expect when you said you have something new. That was awesome. Let's cook.
This is The C Show. I'm Charlie.
I'm Connor.
And thanks again for joining us here. On April 25th, 2025, we had SmackDown in Fort Worth, Texas at the Dickies Arena. Fun fact about the Dickies Arena. The Dickies Arena, this is from Wikipedia, it's not cited, of course, has the second largest continuous 360-degree screen in North America. The scoreboard extends past the width of the basketball court. The board measures 105 feet across. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And 26 feet tall. There are 1.2 million LEDs installed on the board. So
that's insane.
Yes. Yeah. No. I when I was reading that, because it's where they host the Texas cattle show. It's like Cowtown. I almost had to go to a work conference in Fort Worth in a previous life, and reading about the history of Fort Worth, it's where the cattle trains would all come down south, and then that's where the trains would pick up to go to the rest of the country. So I thought that was pretty fascinating. But speaking of big bulls, John Cena comes out first. And again, he's got that plain sans serif font. There's no video package. The music's playing. I'm surprised that they haven't changed the music to a minor key or something. Or
then they get something. The whole point is you get nothing.
You get nothing. Speaking of getting nothing, the outfit is inspired by the Dallas Mavericks.
Wah, wah, wah.
Don't we have that?
Oh, do we?
Oh. I think that one's appropriate.
We'll roll with that. Yeah, trade Luca, you idiots.
So, John, of course, calls the ring announcer in. He cuts the music. At this point, it's just like him abusing WWE staff on top of abusing the audience.
Elm style.
What do you mean, Ellen? You were invited. You were there. He provides another statement about how he was apparently his initial statement to the crowd was deemed disrespectful. The chants break out, and of course, as soon as Cena lifts the belt and grabs the mic, Randy's song plays.
Couldn't wait. I'm so excited they're throwing him back in the title picture, especially after everything was weird with Mania. So they come into the ring and they mention how it's almost the anniversary of 25 years from the first time that Randy and John both shook hands. They were both came in very young in the WWE, didn't wrestle at any other companies, various times off for things and that, injuries, blah, blah, blah. They've gone at it a lot. There's a lot of classic Orton-Cena rivalry that they can build up to here, which we get to a little bit later.
Yeah. I feel like that's what they're tying into.
Oh, absolutely.
Basically. So, the funny thing is Randy comes in with this pro kids message. He's like, you got to have kids.
Grow up.
It's going to change your life. Grow up. And John replies, well, over the last 25 years, I've been raising all of these kids. And
hold on. I can't let you pass this because first he goes, how dare you?
Yeah.
And then he says, to come out here and parent shame me in front of the whole world?
He went to therapy for a fourth time.
And it's still not clicking.
It's still not clicking. Here's the real truth. Over the last 25 years, I've been a better parent than you could ever be. That's right, kid. Your dad's a loser. A 6-year-old gave me the finger. Very classy. John did not come to Philly. Did I put this on the podcast about the time of the last Minnesota United at Philadelphia Union game?
I don't believe so.
Okay, I'm going to put this on wax because it's one of the funniest things that's ever happened to me in 13 years of living in Philadelphia. Big Minnesota United fan. Anytime Minnesota United's in town, I'm going to go see them play down in Chester. And the away section is all the way up at the top in like the corner of the stadium. And you're just like, there's like there's at least like 20 rows of Philly fans right in front of you. Last year, 2024, it's always an even year. Last year, it happened on Kids Day. So the stadium, it's like a matinee game. It's like a 2 p.m. or it's like a 4 p.m. game or something. And it's Kids Day. So the stadium is filled with kids. And me and my buddies, we're chanting. There's like a good 20 of us, probably, I think, probably like closer to 15. And we're chanting, we're singing our songs. And these kids turn around, couldn't have been older than 11, goes, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And I was just like, do you kiss your mother with that mouth? Like we were very careful to like keep it PG-13, like be very respectful.
Yeah.
It's Minnesota nice. But like for this kid to just turn around and be like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And I was like, what did I expect? I don't know why I expected anything different.
Most important, who won that game?
I think everybody had fun. No, I think the Union won.
Oh, who would have guessed that?
Yeah, who would have guessed that?
Your Philadelphia Union. Like you said, John talks about this kid flipping him off, and he tells the kid to never bring a knife to a gunfight. Your loser dad never tell you that.
Let me make this clear. This is a valid crash out, by the way.
No, this is cool. I'm with it. And then he like turns back to him and he's like, "Don't look at me like you're gonna do something." Randy says, "I'm furniture here in the WWE. You are just a guest."
Yes.
John says, "If I put my energy elsewhere, I'm not a full timer. I'm just a guest here. I can't put energy anywhere else. That's manipulative." He calls out another guy. Do you remember what he said about this guy?
Oh, no, I don't think I caught that.
That he's 100 years old and looks like Jack Black, and that's all he has to say for his life. And
that's a cheap shot at Jack Black.
Whatever. He sucks.
He does suck.
So I just kept writing, show him. Like, you got to show him to me. And he later goes after another guy too, and I put the same thing. Do you think, since that kid, do you think they're like, hey, do not cut to anyone in the crowd that Cena's talking to? Like, that's 100% a directive, right? Like, we cannot be doing this.
Yeah, no, we can't do this again. We caught too much flack last time, and it's not worth it.
Okay, yeah, I thought that had to be it. I'm like, how are we not seeing any of these guys? All right, it's time to put someone down. Just gotta put a plant down, like some ridiculous plant that John Cena doesn't even say something accurate about, but bugs out. Sorry. After the transgression. So Randy's talking to John and just can't get through to him. He's like, in this bizarro world where I'm a good guy and you're a bad guy, I still should have known you never would have listened to me. You're going to ruin wrestling over my dead body.
Yeah, and John says, shut your mouth. You just don't understand, do you? And at this point, I was just like, RKO. I'm just RKO. I'm just like, let's get this segment over. This is what I'm waiting for. John talks about how he's won 17, you've won 14. Once I take it home, you'll be frozen. They'll make some tinfoil title, and if you win it, your counter starts at 1, which was brutal.
That's awesome. Again, just playing more into what he says that he's going to do. Randy, he's over it. He's like, fight me right here, right now. Cena, of course, no. He's like, it will happen at Backlash. He's like, it will be in St. Louis. He's like, and I know that's hard for you all to hear in the crowd, but it's Randy Orton's hometown.
Yeah.
just like hammering him, just very cheap. So they're going to have a match at Backlash. And then Cena's posing. He's like, get a good look at the last real champion. You are never going to get any closer to this. And then throws the belt at Randy and jumps him. Just starts beating Randy while he's down. He starts stomping him out, and then John gets ready to hit Randy with the title belt. Right. We had a little counter. He ducks it, and we see an RKO.
RKO. And of course, after you do the RKO, you got to pop the hoodie off. And Randy goes to the corner and lifts the belt into the air. So, do we think the title's going to flip around at Backlash? Maybe. stick around to the end of the show. We'll talk about it more then. Next up, we had Fraxium versus Los Garza. Axiom has competed before as a single. Frazier competed before as a single, but they are competing in NXT. They have been competing in NXT as Fraxium. They were both signed by Aldis to join the SmackDown brand, so they'll be on Fridays going forward. This is really exciting. They're both fantastic acrobatic wrestlers. Frazier of the English tradition, Axiom of like a continental European luchador. I didn't know is luchador. I thought luchador was more Mexico and like Central America.
I really don't know how they cut that. I don't know how generalized that is. But these guys are a great tag team. Like they held the NXT tag titles for over 200 days, right? There's a reason you get a call up. There's plenty of people who have stayed and drowned in NXT, and both singles matches and this tag match was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, Axiom and Frazier are both super acrobatic. They both fly. They're both doing flips and stuff. At the beginning of the match, Garza were just really being dominated early. Not a lot of opportunity for them to get action. And then Angel manages to get a cheap move, and Axiom falls out of the ring. As Axiom taps out later in the match, Frazier springs to jump from the top rope, bouncing back and forth between the ropes. And again, an incredible sequence into a senton cover.
There was so much good stuff in this match. Like this is one where we're trying to really stick to our move of the match. But before, I have to call out when Fraxium did 4 dives. So each of them hit 2 different dives, both Frazier and
Axiom.
Thank you. And Axiom, and the last one, Axiom did a springboard moonsault. He jumped himself up 2 ropes, then springboarded to the outside over top of himself. It was amazing. But my move of the match was the Frazier hot tag. So a hot tag is when the one partner who's in the ring is like beat to hell. They're struggling so bad, right? And you got to get the fresh partner. And usually there's like, like you're crawling, you're trying, they get pulled back. And then the whole thing with a hot tag is you come in like a house of fire. Like you just start throwing down.
You're fresh.
So exactly. So Frazier's hot tag was amazing. He did a springboard forearm, AJ style. A super kick to Garza. He runs the rope twice into like a diving shoulder tackle knockdown, hits the Finn Balor sling blade, springboards into a reverse DDT, and then does a running moonsault, all as his hot tag.
It's just boom, 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 boom.
Right? Like people talk about work rate, like how fast do you do moves and how fast does it move? Like that's work rate. Like he was flying. That was absolutely amazing.
My move of the match was that jump from the top rope, bouncing back and forth between the ropes, and then again that sequence into the senton cover.
Hell
My
yeah.
bad, I should have.
With the finish here, Axiom does a Spanish fly. Him and one of the Garzas is up on the rope. He's got him hooked under the arm. They both do a backflip, right? And then Frazier does, it looked like a corkscrew 450 splash. So again, like twisting his body, doing a full flip and another 90 degrees. On commentary, they call it the Phoenix Splash.
Yep.
I thought that was different. I got a fact check, but I didn't do it yet. So,
okay.
1, 2, 3, ball game. And then we move to...
Now we move into Tiffy time, thankfully. Thank goodness. The Pride of Prior Lake. This was really supposed to be a town hall for Tiffany, for her to talk about her win at WrestleMania, her domination over, or not really her domination, but her rejoinder of Charlotte's criticisms, of Charlotte's demeaning attitude towards her. But of course, Jade Cargill comes out. And this is really, escalating after Jade and Naomi's feud is finished, wrapping it up there at WrestleMania with their match. Tiffany and Jade trade some words.
I'm sorry, gotta jump in here. Jade comes out, says, cut it. Did you hear the person in the background?
No.
The person in the background, just as Jay starts talking, just screams, "Talk your shit!" And it was absolutely fantastic.
Yep.
Jade basically came out, said that,
I'm done with Naomi. I have plenty of time. I want to remind everyone why I came to WWE, to come here to be a champion.
just beautiful.
Yep.
And it kind of devolves into, it's like, Tiffy's like, all right, put your money where your mouth is. Let's get a ref out here and let's do this.
Absolutely. And this is another electric match. It's really fun that we go from Fraxium and Los Garza right into Tiffy versus Jade. We've been talking a lot about both of these women in their other feuds, but for them to go together or to go against each other like this head to head here is really exciting because we want Jade to win the title. A title, but we also want Tiffy to retain as long as possible. So,
yeah, I would love to see Jade get like a monster run with the Women's United States title.
Yes,
just, like hold it for a stupid amount of time and kind of work in and out of the main picture here. So I am so happy that this is one of the matches we kind of chose to talk about all the way through because I love this match. It was back and forth early. They're both getting some hits, some slams in, right, looking good. But then it comes to the point where Tiffy sticks her hand out to Jade. And it's kind of like, all right, we're going back and forth here. This is good. It's more than I thought. Jade's kind of looking. Jade goes to shake her hand. Tiffy puts her in a headlock. So they're going to have to, I guess they're trying to turn Tiffy heel. I don't know if that's going to work. So,
not for me.
That's what I'm saying. So, but in this case, they're going to probably make Tiffy the heel and keep Jade face.
Yeah. And there is some criticism there that she's just doing Charlotte Flair all over again, but we'll see.
God, I hope not.
Yeah. As Jade and Tiff are trading pin opportunities early in the match, Tiff does show off her gymnastic ability. It does some flips in the middle of the ring, catches Jade in the corner. Out of the commercial break, Tiff does a tumble roll into a pin opportunity that Jade kicks out of. At this point, I was just like, God, this is such a good matchup. Thank goodness this is finally happening. Jade puts Tiff into the corner, is just kicking the heck out of her, puts her boot against Tiff's neck, and again, Jade doing push-ups in the middle of the ring, taunting Tiffany while she struggles.
Let me ask you, so there's a point after Tiffy does that rolling senton that you love and goes for her prettiest moonsault ever. Did you notice that she went up and she slipped the first time and then had to reset? I think she did it on purpose. Because she goes up the second time and misses. I think that was all part of it. There are a couple different things that I'm seeing that I want to talk about kind of as we get there of kind of like storytelling within a match. Yeah. And just like little things like that make things make more sense. Jade's more likely to get out of the way, even if it takes 1 extra second because she had to reset. Yeah. So that's just something I wanted to
You're talking about Jade slipping out of the spot. Oh, okay, all right.
No, Tiffy went up to do her prettiest moonsault ever, where she bounces up each turnbuckle, then does her moonsault. The first time she does it, she goes bottom rope, second rope, slips on the top, goes back to the bottom, goes first rope, second rope. And I think giving that extra second was planned. Like, people talk about missing spots, but people have also talked about how they fake missing spots, like how that's part of the spot.
Interesting.
And a spot is just the move you're doing, if I didn't say that before.
Right.
But I think the ropes were weird all night because in the one tag match, they jumped over it and I heard the loudest twang I've ever heard from like a WWE. So I don't know. Maybe
there was some slack in them because it is nylon ropes that they wrap in. It's a reflective tape. It's not gaff tape, but they wrap it in some sort of like marker tape. So
Jade takes over. There's a time she catches Tiffy in the middle of her cartwheel. She'll her cartwheel to Alabama Slam. Jade just catches her and power bombs the hell out of her. Jade hits a suplex from the top rope. And I'm like, man, this is a hell of a pay-per-view match that we're getting free on TV. Why would they give it to us free on TV, Charlie?
Because Naomi comes out.
Because Naomi, no clean finish. No, they're not going to give us a real answer. Naomi comes out and jumps Jade, punches her, smacking her, slams her into the post a bunch of ways.
Yep.
Tiffy comes in. Tiffy comes back to make the save. Okay, maybe face Tiffy. Naomi just gets out of the way.
Now who comes out but Nia Jax?
Attacks Tiffy from behind, hits her with a big old leg drop, then hits the suck it sign to the crowd. You see her hit the suck it sign big style?
Not see her do the suck it sign, but that's incredible. I keep loving it. Nia Jax every day, more and more. I love you.
Takes Tiffy to the corner, hits her with the Annihilator. Tiffy laying down in the corner, she jumps up to the second rope and just jumps off, lands sitting down on Tiffy.
Nia and Naomi have a stare off for a moment, and you know, Naomi at the end of this segment lifts the title, walks around the ring. The story complicates, and I think with having Naomi added to this, like, as a side character here, and Nia Jax as well, there's a lot of interesting things that can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very excited to see where this goes.
So speaking of members of the bloodline, it's Jacob Fatu, the new U.S. champ.
He's so cool, dude.
Yeah.
He is just so... He came out wearing the title around his neck in a backwards Raiders jersey.
Backwards, like, blank Raiders jersey.
So cool.
Oh, excuse me. There's like the... It's like super retro, where it's just the numbers and the name on the back. There's not even... Like, the NFL tag is there, but like there's no Raiders font on the arms or anything. I think it's supposed to be like a throwback or something. Because they do like one throwback-ish a year. I know the Vikings have done it, where they do the white and yellow stripes on the sleeves. Awesome, fabulous. Yes, but of course, Solo Sikoa comes out with Jacob Fatu. Solo Sikoa gets the mic. He demands the crowd show respect for your new U.S. champ. Fatu is the future. You know, Jacob talks about his troublesome background. His history that he's had with the law. Jacob Fatu was arrested for robbery at one point.
A lot of the bloodline has had their runs in with the law.
Interesting. I mean, wrestlers and the law
already
have not gotten along very well. But again, like, Jacob has done a lot to... Do you want to hear something crazy? Jacob Fatu is, I think, 32, 33 years old. Guess how many children he has?
If he's his dad's son, he has got 14.
Half of that, but yeah, that's
7. Okay,
yeah, that's wild. He's 33. He's 33. Yes. Okay. Again, Solo saying, my family thought Jacob was trouble, was a risk. I knew that he could do it. I brought him here. I took him to the promised land. Jacob is here because of me, but Jacob steals the mic.
He is so good on the mic.
Yep.
And I would love to see him do a little bit more than just kind of it's always been the same style, kind of walking down, either walking down the hallway or whatever, and kind of this, and it's all the same things, but it still rocks. Let's not get it twisted. I told you the U.S. title was coming home with or without you, Solo. This title makes me America's most wanted, a menace to society. You better get in where you fit in. All gas, no brakes. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. Because our friend LA Knight comes out with that big old 808 synth intro. Let me talk to you. Yeah. He says, I told you you needed the BFT and you ate a BFT. You were able to beat me. I want my rematch and I want it right now.
LA Knight, the perfect example of not wrong, just early. I didn't say I was going to win. I said I was going to choose BFT, which I did. But then someone's looking for some trouble, I think.
It's Drew McIntyre. Who else? Drew McIntyre, I thought he would be coming out wearing some goofy stuff, as he usually does, as he is one to do. But no, it's just it's a black wife respecter. He pumps up the Texas crowd. It's really easy to get the crowd in Texas going. You just say something about guns, oil, like country music. I don't know, man. They're very simple. The best part was when they cut back in the ring and Knight is just chilling on the turnbuckle, just laying up.
Like you said, Drew came out, immediately says into the camera, Priest, it was a pleasure to embarrass you in front of your family. He said he was going to be the next to challenge John Cena, but Randy jumped the line. He's like, is it Nepo Baby Wrestling? And then he goes, oh yeah, hi Bloodline. Off screen. Then off screen, like you said, there's a big yawn and they just go to LA Knight hammock style over in the corner asking if you're done yet. And my favorite part was Drew was like, I'll get to you in a minute. And LA Knight says, carry on.
Cena is a punk. I want to fight the baddest dog in the yard. Jacob Fatu. Drew says the last good joke was Knight's title run. Knight responds with, I would say your title run was a joke, but I don't remember it. I often forget as well.
Let me know when this mush mouth is done.
Aldis comes walking out. We can all see where this is going. Aldis, great management, goes, we offer an alternative. Let's go backstage. Y'all get your boots on. Let's strip down to your undies. Drew versus LA Knight tonight. The winner is the number 1 contender for the U.S. title. Now, on the women's side of the roster, we have Zelina Vega. It's a big night for Zelina Vega, as we've been talking about for over a month now. 4/25/25 is going to be the reintroduction of Aleister Black, her husband. So big night for her. She talks about how she's speechless. She name drops Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero. She wants to bring the Latino heat, the Latina heat, perhaps in this case. So we go right into Zelina versus Chelsea. I love the bit of Wade saluting, like standing up and saluting, like Tessitore and Wade grow on me every week. And,
they're good, man. They're good at what they do.
They are really good. Barrett on commentary for Mania with Michael Cole. A lot of people also said this. I'm not the first person to say this. Really highlights the disparity in quality between Pat McAfee and Wade Barrett.
Mm-hmm. So they get into a title match here, Zelina and Chelsea Green for the U.S. Women's title.
Mm-hmm.
In a shocking turn of events, Secret Hervis gets caught cheating.
Of course.
And then referee Ryan Tran tosses Secret Hervis. So again, we're back to a one-on-one match here. My move of the match was Zelina did like this super release German. So they're both at the top of the rope. Yeah. And they were kind of like playing tug of war, like kind of back and forth. Mm-hmm. And then Zelina ends up behind her, wraps her arms around her waist, and falls back, delivering a German to both of them. It was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, that's awesome. My move of the match is the finale there with Zelina flipping Chelsea into the pin to win the U.S. Women's Championship.
Yeah, her code red, her finishing move is unbelievable. It's kind of like you have someone head between your legs for a power bomb and you just jump all the way through and powerbomb them instead of lifting them up. It's the amount of athleticism needed is absurd. Like you said, 1, 2, 3, new champ. Mm-hmm. Secret Hervis comes back, chases her out of the ring. You can tell, right? She was on cloud nine. You could tell her soaking up the moment. It was awesome for her to get this moment.
Yeah, exactly. Backstage, we've got The Miz and Carmelo Hayes.
Do you know what was right before that?
What was right before that?
The Andre the Giant Memorial Review, brought to you by the Shakaroni.
Right. I think I skipped through that.
I just wanted to say Shakaroni on the pod.
Shakaroni. Mm.
So we go backstage and we see Mello Don't Miz. My first note is Miz is bouncing on it crazy style, doing tricks and all, because he just keeps talking to Carmelo about, oh, you're so great. Like, what I see in you. He literally got Mello and Andre the Giant, like a humongous Andre the Giant, like head chain, like just his face. Mm-hmm. Mello goes on to say, this is bigger than me. It's the chip on my shoulder. I'm the 10th wonder of the world, and I am him. For any of you at home that are like, wouldn't he be the 9th wonder? Part of Andre the Giant's whole bit was he was the 9th wonder of the world. So connecting to that, that's why he says he is the 10th wonder of the world. Miz is like, you inspired me, and I'm going out to the ring to get something off my chest.
They're also both wearing white. All white. Memorial Day has not happened yet, folks. So no white pants until after Memorial Day. So yes, Miz goes center stage. The Miz is displeased.
Miz mad.
He's been an integral part of WrestleMania since 2007. He's been in 4 of the Marine movies. So he's main evented Mania. He's beaten John Cena. He's beaten Cody Rhodes. Or Cody Rhodes couldn't do that. Miz wanted to replace Rey Mysterio. Do I need to wear a mask? Instead, they get this dork El Grande Americano.
Who's only been here for 2 weeks.
KO
goes down. Y'all want an internet meme.
Don't disrespect Joe Hendry like that. We believe.
Agreed. We believe, but I
say his name.
You know, this is journalism here. I need to make sure we say everything.
Yes. And
then the lights go out.
And of course, it is Aleister Black.
Miz just goes, who the hell eats a spinning back kick immediately?
It is the Black Mass. That is his signature move.
Oh, that's what. Okay.
Yes, the Black Mass, apparently. MASS.
Oh,
it's like
pirate mass?
Like Satanic.
Or no, that's a mast, right?
MAST.
That's pirate.
That's pirates. That's boat. That's sailing terminology technically. But no,
bite me.
It feels like Aleister Black has like a lot of like the like what I consider like traditional like Black Sabbath goth metal, that sort of aesthetic, which I rock with, I bang with.
One thing I'll drop real quickly. If you notice, he has like a weird contact in one eye because he is still selling a story from the last time he was in WWE where like Seth Rollins was trying to take people's eyes out. And so like in kayfabe, his one eye's all effed up. So he wears like that special contact to keep selling that.
Yeah, no, I did see a meme about him selling a 5 or 6 year old spot, which I think is great. It also plays into the character really well. Like it looks sick.
It looks awesome. Like again, the commitment to the bit. We're all about the commitment to the bit, and again, it just helps it all. But moving on from there, we have Bianca and Brian Saxton backstage. Real quick, he's talking to Bianca about their WrestleMania match with her, Io, and Rhea.
Yeah.
So I saw two different things. So one said that was either the very first time the Wrestling Observer newsletter gave a women's match 5 stars.
Gave a WWE
women's match 5 stars.
I think it was that specified as well.
Okay.
That was clarified.
Either way, that's wild. There have been some fantastic women's matches over the year. Bianca told she's got a couple broken fingers.
Yep.
But made sure to remind Rhea that this won't be the last time she sees her. So then we get Naomi just walking backstage here. Nia comes up, says, "Stay out of my way when it comes to Tiffany." Naomi had to get her line in. As long as you
proceed with caution. And of course, she's wrapped up on caution tape. Again, and as Naomi walks away, it just goes, rude. We now have the promised match from earlier, LA Knight versus Drew McIntyre. We've got our boy Charles Robinson. Charles Robinson, C-show approval. Early on, Drew picks up LA Knight, just throws him to the ground. It is really just like Knight's only advantage here is athleticism. Drew is just picking him up, throwing him around. There's a brainbuster pin at one point, but LA Knight is able to kick out. Knight just having short sections of brilliance while being physically dominated by Drew McIntyre.
Again, more kind of storytelling there, right? The idea of the chase, right? There's the little spurts where Knight is up, they call hope, right? Drew's beating him down, that's your heat. And again, just like classic storytelling here. My move of the match, as always, again, LA Knight's leaping elbow, right? Jump, big elbow. Yeah. What was your move of the match?
I think it might have to be. I think when Damian Priest pulls McIntyre out and throws him against the barrier and into the crowd, I think even if they're continuing to pull that story out, and as well tread as it is, it's still funny to see the surprise on Drew's face when Damian busts in and is just like, yank.
Yes, let me get to the finish here real quick where we kind of introduce him. So they're fighting on the outside. Drew gets thrown back in the ring. Solo Sikoa sneaks out and hits the Samoan spike on LA Knight. Ref doesn't see it because he's messing with Drew. Drew sees it. He's like, I kind of hate winning this way. Just kidding. No, I don't. He sets up for a Claymore. He's doing his 3, 2, 1. He gets pulled out and jumped by Priest. Priest actually puts him through the announce tables with a South of Heaven chokeslam.
Yep.
Again, technically here, Drew wins, which they'll address in a minute. Drew wins because the ref saw him get attacked. So technically, LA Knight gets disqualified.
Gotcha.
So that's why later he mentions it briefly. He's like, "What?" LA Knight's like, "Do you know what you cost me?"
Gotcha.
But then Jacob Fatu comes out and jumps Priest and Knight and beats the hell out of him.
If your legs work, start running.
So then Cena's backstage with R-Truth. And if you don't know, there's a lot of history here. R-Truth has always said a thing like John Cena was his favorite wrestler growing up, even though R-Truth is older than him. Like has always wanted to.
I wanted to say that.
Yes.
R-Truth is older than John Cena.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? Okay,
yes,
all right.
100%.
Okay.
Cena, like when Cena was gone, he basically gave R-Truth permission to do like his 5 moves of doom. So you saw him doing like the 5 knuckle shuffle and all. R-Truth tells Cena, call me if you need me.
Yeah. This was a little surprising.
R-Truth never makes sense. He's always confusing people, but I feel like he would do anything for John Cena.
Yeah, I feel it.
Just floating that out there.
As John Cena walks away, Jey Uso comes into frame. R-Truth says, someday when I'm grown up, I want to be like him. Jay, confused, but you're already grown up.
Well, wait, was it Jay or was it Jimmy? I had Jimmy.
I think it was Jay.
Okay.
They're twins, dude.
No, I know. I was just asking because I just want to know if I was wrong. But he comes up and he's like, when did Cena become so whack?
When did Cena become so whack? After that, we have our big match, our main event of the evening, TLC for the Tag Team Championship. Now, if you're like me and last week you're wondering, what Tender Loving Care?
Oh,
the
man.
Learning Channel.
So, tables, ladders, and chairs.
Table.
It is most like a normal ladder match where they'll hang whatever you're going for, a briefcase, a title, whatever, above the ring, and the point's to be the first one to climb the ladder and get the thing down.
Yep.
Now they just kind of add the mix that there will be tables and chairs as well. Not that you couldn't use those in a ladder match because it's no disqualification anyway, but just like more specifically, like we're going to use all these. We're going to get all this. And again, thank God this is one we chose to talk everything about. I will try and make this as quick as possible. So again, this tag match is between the Street Profits of Angelo Dawkins and Montrez Ford.
Currently holding the title.
Current title holders, DIY of Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, the Motor City Machine Guns, Chris Sabin, and Alex Shelley.
Now, Ciampa had to shave off his beard. He had stitches on his chin. His chin was broken open a couple weeks ago. Ciampa, thankfully, is growing the beard back, but he looks crazy without it. One thing that I noticed before the bell rings was they shone a spotlight above the belts.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, and they dropped the rest of the lights as well to help accentuate the belts and help those shine a little bit more. It was a really cool production moment there. I had one quick question before we get started here. So they talk about on commentary Motor City Machine Guns being of the cruiserweight style.
Mm-hmm.
Cruiserweight sounds like heavyweight or lightweight or flyweight, like a weight class, but it seems more like a style than a class.
Well, it started as a class because multiple companies before had cruiserweight championships with the weigh-in limit. I want to say 205. Don't quote me on that. But again, it was the lower one again to separate. And so since those were the smaller guys, they were the ones mostly doing the high-flying moves and all. Because again, that's so much harder for the bigger guys to do and shortens their career so much. So, and especially with the Motor City Machine Guns kind of being journeymen, going all over the place. Like, you know, they had to pull out all kinds of tricks to make sure their name got known.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. No, that's really good to know. This is just a firecracker throughout. It starts early with the chairs. Sabin goes in early for a dive. Gargano is there with the steel chair. Ciampa pounds forward with the chair, then rips off the announcer banner. But Dawkins is there to hip checks him. Dawkins goes up with the ladder. Sabin slides in, jumps in for a piggyback ride. You know, there are a couple of early moments where Motor City Machine Guns are climbing up the ladder. They're almost there. I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah, never mind. We'll get to my move of the match here in a moment here. Where was I? Yes. Basement drop kick on Shelley, or by Shelley. Sabin kicking the chair into Ford's face.
That was so awesome.
Ford doing a corner dive.
Yeah, over the whole thing.
Over the whole thing, wiping out everybody except for Angelo Dawkins.
And then we started getting these spots off the ladder. They were doing insane stuff off the ladder. Gargano hits a twisting flatliner, so he basically like locks under someone's arm, right? They both basically jump down the ladder, land
from
flat.
The top of the ladder, like a 15-foot tall ladder.
Yeah. Dawkins hits the silencer where he puts Gargano on one of his shoulders and then throws him flat on his stomach off the ladder. There was a point where Ciampa put a chair around Chris Sabin's neck. And
it was Alex Shelley's head, and his bell gets totally rung by Gargano.
Are you talking about the one where he swings the second chair and it spins around big style?
Yeah.
Dude, that was bananas.
Oh, yeah, he was looking at... there was also the point where Ciampa and Gargano DIY, they set up the chairs. They were going to throw somebody onto... I think it was Shelley. They were going to throw him onto the flat parts, the seats of the chair. But then Ciampa was like, no. Let's flip them around so the backs are together. And then let's throw him on there. Gets turned around. Gargano gets thrown on top. Oh,
dude, looked like that hurt so bad. the Street Profits do their their Doomsday Blockbuster from the inside of the ring to the outside of the ring. So Dawkins is holding them up. Montrez Ford hits the ropes and dives outside the ring, takes out everyone.
There was a cuddle puddle in the middle of the TLC match.
A little bit. That's what you gotta do. You gotta catch the guy. Did you see what special weapon Montrez Ford used?
The prosthetic leg.
Again, I kind of hope that guy was a plant, because I feel like that can't be great to take someone's prosthetic. But he was like,
I don't think he was.
But he was like, hey, use my leg. And he was like, okay. Which it would make sense, because that's why he just like hit him in the stomach with it. 'Cause that's like the safest thing. It's just like kind of pops. but yeah, he used a leg and then threw it back to him. Kind of like, I don't know if he shot him a finger gun or what it was, but it was absolutely awesome. Sabin then splashes Dawkins through a table.
Yep.
Ford dives over the top to put Ciampa through a table. Ciampa does a white noise off the apron through a ladder that was set up on another ladder and breaks it in half.
There's the point where I think it's Cole goes warriors flying through the sky, and immediately all I could think of was Reading Rainbow. So for your listening consideration, warriors flying through the sky. It's on TV. Why don't you come in? Hold on. Sorry. Hold on. Warriors flying through the sky. It's on TV. Why don't you come and see? It's on the WWE.
So the Motor City Machine Guns hit their skull and bones on Johnny Gargano, where the one holds their head, the other one comes and does a splash. They leave Ciampa just like hanging on the titles. He just has like his hands holding, he's like kicking around. Angelo Dawkins climbs on the ladder and spears him through a table they have set up.
Oh my gosh.
And then kind of as everything, you're like, what's going on? As the dust settled, Ford climbs the inside of the ladder that Gargano and Sabin are climbing the outside of.
Yep.
Tosses them both off, claims the title and wins. The Street Profits retain.
Incredible. Do you want to know a fun fact about Montez Ford?
He's married to Bianca.
I mean, that's a great fact. Shout out Montez Ford. Montez Ford was a Marine, and he was one of few Marines to have scored a perfect 300 on the Marines' physical exam.
Hell yeah.
That is really impressive. The Marine boot camp is hard enough as it is.
Yeah.
And then to score a perfect score at like 18, that's insane. So that was SmackDown, an electric show, a couple good promos, and then that TLC, the two matches at the end, fantastic stuff, lots of action, but we still have Raw to talk about, folks. So we'll be right back. Well, do you have anything you want to talk about on SmackDown or?
Again, it's not like a broken record. Another great show. It feels like they're really setting things up for Backlash without force feeding us stuff. Still plenty of angles to go.
I have to agree. Like they're not force feeding us about Backlash. It feels like things are being kind of pulled naturally. Where I feel like some things for Mania, Jay and Gunther, were kind of a little like, hey, we're doing this because we want to do it, right? So we want to put a belt on somebody. But we're going to be talking about Raw here in just a minute here on The C Show. And we're back. So Raw, yesterday, we're recording on April 29th, so April 28th, we're in Kansas City, Missouri. We're at the T-Mobile Center. Now, I talked about the arena in Fort Worth. I want to talk a little bit about the T-Mobile Center. So we were talking about how the T-Mobile Center regularly hosts University of Kansas basketball games. They host the Big 12 basketball tournament. Now, cities do this all of the time. Right? They don't have an NBA team, an NHL team. They want one, though. So there was like a little pitch for it later in the show, but like the commissioner of sport for Kansas City, like they have some sort of organization, like touristy organization, like tourism board for sport in Kansas City. Because they only have the Chiefs and the Royals.
I believe so, yeah.
So they want an NBA team. They want an NHL team. And
no, the Blues aren't still in St. Louis?
The Blues are in St. Louis, not Kansas City.
Oh, sorry, we're in Kansas City. Right.
We're in Kansas City. However, apparently in 2006, the building was used as leverage as part of a plan to have the Penguins relocate from Pittsburgh. Yeah, I know you jumped at that. From Pittsburgh to Kansas City. Now, this has happened a couple of times, famously in the movie Blackberry. Basile, Jim Basile, the guy, the business guy at BlackBerry, he wanted to buy the Penguins and move them to Hamilton, Ontario, which is like a exurb of Toronto. So like really interesting. I was like, ooh, this is a fabulous ripple there on that story. But yes, at the top of the show here, we learned that Adam Pearce has suspended Gunther for his actions last week in attacking Michael Cole, smacking him, taking his glasses off, putting Michael Cole into a headlock, then putting Pat McAfee into a headlock after being
chokehold, even.
Or a chokehold, excuse me. Yes, a sleeper hold. So Adam Pearce has suspended Gunther and fined him an undisclosed amount. Pearce is also providing Pat time to speak later in the show.
Interesting thing, though.
Yes.
Pearce isn't here.
Pearce is not here. And we'll get more into that in a moment. Because, again, I think there's a really good point made about Pearce's management style.
We'll get there.
So we get a recap of the last week's ending of Raw and the formation of what some are calling Evolution 2.0, this new stable of Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Paul Heyman. I think it's really fascinating where you have Seth as sort of like the face, the mouth, Heyman as the brains, Breaker as the brawn, if you will. Like, I feel like really at this...
Braun Breaker, boo.
Yes, I know. And I think at this point, like, really, they need like a wild card. They need a valet, maybe. But a lot of stuff building up here as Seth comes out first. And Heyman and Breaker are both in tow. They get Braun Breaker into a suit, which I don't know if Braun Breaker wears suits. They'd like do that for the first time yesterday. Seth's glasses. We got to talk about it. With like the painted on like eyes. Somebody in wardrobe hates him.
Usually comes out in such good stuff. Well, I don't know. So you have some things to say.
There's some really interesting stuff. Like there's always something with it, and I think there's a symbolic, like they're definitely symbolic in that, like like the all-seeing eye on the pyramid on our money and stuff, like Freemasonry symbols, stuff like that. Some of like the shining golden rays around the rim of the glasses. I mean, listen, we can talk about conspiracies all day.
So they all come out here. Seth, starts as usual about Seth freaking Rollins.
I thought you were doing.
Oh no, I was just making fun of his things. I don't like it. And then here comes Sami Zayn. Let's go. He's like, how long have we been friends?
A long time.
He's like, this is all a load of crap.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe you are just jealous. It's not a coincidence of all the people, right, that you fought against, you saw as the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's hypocritical.
This is just like the Bloodline, Paul Heyman and your little dog.
This is not the Bloodline. What is going on here?
This is bigger than us. You stand in our way, you will become a target.
Let me be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
This is the vision of the future. And we can pull the strings and get you off Monday Night Raw. This is not a threat. It's not even an offer. It's a favor.
Yeah, it's very Trump coded. It's not a threat.
And we need our answer by the end of the night.
So this first segment, this first 20 minutes of the show already like create this arc that we have to resolve by the end of the show. Fabulous stuff.
Yeah, love that.
Love that internal short-term storytelling. We talk a lot about the long-term storytelling of the WWE, but even in like a night like this, we'll pepper it in throughout the rest of the second part of the show. But they really tease it out and play through it, like different elements of it.
Well, and it's a great lead to our next match, which I think is some of the best storytelling in a match that we've seen, because Rhea Ripley takes on Roxanne Perez. My first question, does this qualify as tall versus small? Is there enough of a discrepancy? Because like Roxanne Perez is pretty small. It's not like Rhea's exactly a giant. Does this count as tall versus small?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
I'm qualifying it as.
So it has great storytelling, or people say like ring psychology. What can you tell with the moves and all? From the very first thing, Roxanne runs out of the ring, throws Rhea's jacket over her head like a bird, and then chop blocks her. From there, Roxanne just continues to work that leg. People talk about limb work. That's a way to make things believable. Yeah. And it makes sense. In a fight, you would pick on one limb and then be like, all right, I'm going to make sure they can't walk. They can't use that arm, right? Whatever it is. Limb work is classic wrestling.
Yes. There was some of that during the Sami Zayn Kevin Owens match during Elimination Chamber where Kevin was going after Sami's neck. We've seen it at a couple other points. Various wrestlers. Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton during WrestleMania, during their match, there was some action on Charlotte's knee, her bad knee.
And I can't wait because there's something that, because for me, it's all the small things. Like, right, you get those. Like, there's a small thing that happens later. And again, I was mad because I saw it. And then they said on commentary too. And I'm like, I guess I'm not that smart.
What would that be, though?
So near the end of the match, it goes back and forth a little bit. Rhea does get her offense. She catches Perez in a dive and throws her into the barricade. Yep. Roxanne starts banging Rhea's legs off the post. Rhea hits some crazy clotheslines, hits a vertical suplex, personal favorite of our own. A springboard moonsault by Perez. Rhea hits a razor's edge. And then so Rhea goes to pin. And the whole thing when you're supposed to pin, right, in the kayfabe of it, right, is you hook the leg and you plant your feet so that your weight is on them. It's harder for them to kick out. Gotcha. Rhea goes to plant, immediately grimaces and pulls up her one foot because that's the leg that's been worked on. She couldn't put all the pressure. It was a 2.9999 kick out where it's like that plant could have been the difference. Again, it's great storytelling like that. And again, I was sitting here thinking, what a great pay-per-view match that they gave us for free on TV.
You got worked, brother. You got worked.
Because who comes out but Julia? It doesn't end the match right away, though, right? Roxanne tries to go for a small package. She does this, like, cartwheel knee into the back of Rhea's head, which was wild. And eventually, Rhea's about to hit her Riptide move. Julia comes in and chop blocks her. So Rhea wins by DQ, but they start just 2-on-1 ground pounding Rhea.
Exactly. But who comes out?
Io Sky, #1 Io Sky podcast, comes out, makes the save. Literally, my note is Io for the saves, kicks ass, then gets knocked off the rope.
My notes here are Io setting them straight. Io slams her on her stomach. Where did Rhea go? Oh, she comes barreling back in, scaring the NXT stars out.
Yeah. So they both make the save for each other. You gonna get Rhea Io tag team run? Tag team run for the boys?
That would actually be fabulous.
And I'll talk about why that might be happening a little bit later as we get here. But we get the return of a classic, a Judgment Day sketch.
Right. JD is back. The gang is so happy. Finn pulls his buddy aside to speak one-on-one. You know, Finn's a little blindsided by JD's early return. Wish you would have told me you were coming back. Liv's checking in. You know,
but he told Dom, right? Dom. I thought Dom would get the information back to Finn. Some more division there. And then JD lets him know, well, we got to be ready for our match anyway. He's like, what match?
What match?
It's like, Liv talks to the general manager. You know, we figured we want to start our push for the tag titles. So we'll take on the War Raiders later.
Yeah, Liv says, since you're not a champion, thought you might be interested. And Finn has like this, like, he's very, very mixed feelings about it, right? He's a little angry, but he's like, this is also very nice of her, very thoughtful of her, but like, what game is she playing?
Yeah,
in the long term.
He knows there's something up, just like the other time she set up some of the other matches. So she's like, oh, I thought you. And it's like, yes, it's something that Finn would do, especially as like a heel, and like, I'll take on anyone anytime. But the fact that's not his choice makes him be like, And did you catch Carlito at the end?
Carlito should be a champion too.
He's like, everyone's going to be a champion. I should be a champion too.
I want Carlito to be a champion. Carlito's had a couple of runs.
And I'd asked my wife, because at first I thought he just said, I should be a champion too, but he was like staring at his apple. I was like, was he talking to his apple? My wife's like, I don't think so. I'm like, okay, never mind.
Now, we get to the hot dog match of the show. Logan Paul in the center of the ring. You people are stupid. True. You don't know what a true legend looks like. False. A true legend doesn't look like Jey Uso. False. And I've had 7 days to think about it. Questionable.
As you mentioned, it's our hot dog promo here. I'm out getting a hot dog. I literally wrote, "Beat AJ Styles. You people are stupid." At this, and then I wrote, "At this point, I hand the computer to my wife to look at different dog toys for the pup." And then after she gave it back to me, I just wrote, "Sad I couldn't write about Jey Uso."
Listen, let's talk about the one nice part about this segment is there's a kid in the front row, like ringside.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, and I guess he's a Make-A-Wish kid, but he survives cancer, and like he's got like a Yeet for Cancer sign, and Jay like runs up to him, gives him the glasses, gives him a hug, and then on his way out, also make sure to like give a hug to the kid. I think he may have given him another thing, but so it's like, damn, dude.
Oh man, and like you could hear the kid's dad just like thanking him, and like it was just like, heartbreaking isn't the right, but it was emotional to be like, oh man, like Jay did such a nice thing. It was very for touching. Them. Like imagine going through that as a parent, and then you can give your kid this opportunity. Like, oh, that was emotional,
and just for Jay to like go through, and for the production to like make sure they highlighted it as well. Like, how could you not like Jey Uso?
Yeah,
he's fun to watch. He's fun to listen to. He's a nice guy with a good heart. Jay says the title isn't given; it's earned. If you want it, come take it. 4 letters, 1 word.
Yeet. I'm pretty sure that he also said something about Raw being his show and all, which is funny because you can look up Roman Reigns did a very popular promo where he was walking out the ramp like that, and he's like, "This is my show. This is my camera." Like he grabs the camera, like basically like for his moment of like, "I am the WWE." So I thought it was like a little reminiscent of that, and I'm like, soft launch Jey Uso take over the world.
I mean, it's just me, Us. Listen, at the end here, Jay does the one thing that we all wish we could do, and he super kicks Logan Paul right in the mouth. Thank you, Jay. Okay, one quick thing before we get onto it. So there's that like helicopter shot, that overhead shot of the stadium.
Yes.
Did you see that brown brick AT&T building?
No.
Do you know that AT&T building off of 76? Like when you're getting off of the South Street exit? Going east, never mind.
No.
Okay, it's a big terminal building, and it's like a relic of the analog age. It's basically just like a bunch of telephone switches.
Nerd. No, it's cool.
Yeah, okay, all right. I was a little confused when we get into the next match here. I was like, who else is in the commentary here? We just got 2 new voices.
Thank God for the New Day.
Sucks. But the New Day are commentating on War Raiders versus JD and Finn of the Judgment Day. They're a little distracting on commentary at first, but like they sort of like get into it, and it's actually really fun.
They're both so funny. They have a YouTube channel, Up Down Down. I've recently been listening to them play on Dimension 20 in a wrestling themed.
Oh, yes.
I think it was a 4-shot. They are both unbelievably funny.
The best part was Xavier being roasted for having the same hair, like him and Alicia having the same hairstyle, and he goes, let's make it clear, Alicia Taylor stole my hairstyle. I was here first. She signed me. She took my hair.
My move of the match was actually a move that missed. So Ivar ran to this big cross body to JD when he's sitting against like the ring apron screen. And JD gets out of the way, and he just slams into that video board.
Oh, yeah.
And then Xavier Woods on commentary is saying, "It's impressive because he's fat." Oh.
Yeah, no, Xavier Woods was really being fat phobic. You know, a lot of body negativity. We don't like to see that on the C show here.
Absolutely not.
But I will say this, the New Day are better than Pat McAfee.
Yes, absolutely.
I would say literally my move of the match, or anytime Eric and Ivar like go flying, they're diving, they're jumping. I just love it. I want to do it.
How did you feel about Ivar throwing Finn into the New Day on commentary?
Loved it.
My favorite is Xavier Woods sells like he got shot. He falls down. Kofi actually catches Finn, and then Ivar's like, I'll just splash you all.
Yeah.
Just run, diving splashes, all of them. Our finish here, so Carlito goes and is distracting the ref, and Penta comes and pushes JD off the top rope. The War Raiders then hit their War Machine, their own kind of doomsday clothesline, springboard off the bottom rope from the chicken style guy, and they win. And then, did you see Penta just clowning JD and Finn by just emoting on the on the announce table, just doing his just hitting his entrance, like the whole strut and everything,
he cleared
like
out the cables and stuff so he could do his feet stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Backstage, we've got Paul Heyman sitting down with Sami Zayn, interrupting a conversation with Otis. Don't interrupt my conversation with Otis.
Yeah, just like, can we have some time? And Otis like, all right, see ya.
Otis and I have conversations to have about various things, mostly food and stretchy pants.
Hell yeah. So Heyman sits next to Sammy. We're OG bloodline. Braun wants a match with you so bad, and we don't want this to happen.
But you blew up the bloodline at Mania, though, Paul.
One day you might understand. I hope you understand.
Seth is a vanguard, or Seth is the vanguard. Whether he is or not, Breaker is the dog at the gate.
So, think about the favor. You accept the trade to SmackDown, and you'll face the winner of Randy Orton and John Cena next for your first world title.
Automatic title match, right? Think of your future, your family. You can live in the future or you can die with the past. Dust fading into the wind. Sometimes, the most impactful lines come from the most surprising of places. Backstage, we've got Becky Lynch. She does have some explaining to do. The two celebrities on the show are Jeff Passan, who is an ESPN MLB insider. Did you see the group of children that he was with?
No, I didn't peep that.
Acquaintance of the show, Norm Charlatan on Blue Sky, was like confused at like this group of children. And I was like, listen, I mean, probably they're his, like if they look like him and they like walk like him. That kind of happens when you have children. They look like you. But no confirmation on that. There was also some NASCAR driver, and Pat was like...
he was like, is he going to chug his beer? And he picks it up like he thought about it, and then he's like, maybe I shouldn't. I wonder if he was like, I have to drive home after this, and if anything happens, and they got me on Raw chugging a beer. But I don't know, because literally he like does it and drops it and just like spills it all over himself.
I think he wanted to stone cold it, and then he was just like, no, I shouldn't. I'm going to get him. I don't know who he drives for, but he's like, I'm going to get a call from the manufacturer tomorrow morning, and they're not going to be happy. And that's the last thing you want. All right. Becky Lynch comes out. She puts up her fist. Becky has found the culprit to who attacked Bayley.
There will be no weeks-long murder mystery. I examined the evidence. I put it all together.
It was me.
I did it. It was me. It was me the whole time. Idiot. It was me. Dummy.
Don't act like I'm the bad guy here, though. Bayley has been attacking me since 2019.
Becky calls out Bayley. She had a series of interviews last week kind of talking about how she hasn't really broken through to that superstardom in the WWE.
Yeah.
Partially, she thinks because she never like pushes back against creative. She'll kind of take whatever they give her and make the best of it. And she's made the best of a lot of really bad gimmicks.
Role model.
Like... to say the very, very least of it, dude. And so she's like, oh, like, attacked me since 2019. She's out in an interview crying about not being a bigger star. And then turns around that the enemy of the enemy is my friend, saying, the friend of my enemy is my enemy. I tried to get Lyra to ditch that bitch.
Right, I had high hopes for Lyra. She was cozying up with the woman that I've been beefing with for the past 6 years. It's too late. She's already here. Dum dum dum. Woo!
Lyra comes out immediately. Do you know how many women in the locker room warned me about you? That you would step on anyone's throat to get ahead? The illusion of Becky Lynch is dead.
Yeah. Lyra taunts Becky, but Becky says the man only fights when it matters.
And it doesn't in Kansas City.
Lyra drops from the ring and stomps on Becky, and they just go at it. Becky retreats and runs into the crowd. And Lyra says it's going to be a funeral of your ego. As Lyra is walking backstage, she's walking towards gorilla position again. That spot right on the Tron. As they walk out, Becky attacks from gorilla from backstage, and we go wild.
So in the middle of this, sorry if you did hit this. It comes with Lyra saying, okay, if you won't fight here, fine, Backlash, and I'll put my title on the line. Becky says, I'll make that title matter like I made you matter.
Wow.
Then Lyra had her most cutting point. I don't want to be the next Becky Lynch. I'm going to be a better person than you, and I already know I'm a better wrestler than you.
Cold.
Right.
Ice cold.
They collide again. Becky jumps her on the ramp. I can't wait to see where this goes.
Yeah, no, this is one match that when we get to Backlash at the end of the show, I'm definitely pretty excited for this one. We've got a backstage segment and a pre-tape here. First one is Penta backstage. Nick Aldis is stepping in for Pierce and says that he won't find Penta and will set up a match between him and JD McDonough next week. Again, Aldis. There's a problem. He has a solution. That's a great compromise for everybody. Adam Pearce, what would have Pearce done there?
Man, I don't even care. This was perfect because then the only other thing to mention here is Penta kicks Chad directly in the chest and walks away.
Beautiful.
Again, all this just like, I don't care about that. I'm moving on with my life.
We did have Rusev return recently, and this new pre-tape that was shown last night on Monday Night Raw. Very funny. Very funny. One thing, he had a tank at WrestleMania?
Yeah. I don't remember what WrestleMania, but yeah, that was part of his bit coming out.
Oh, that's so cool. He talks about falling into an abyss on his way home to Bulgaria. That abyss? All Elite Wrestling. Okay, very funny. He talks about how he won't fight for a flag that never was, the Russian flag. He will use his hands and I will use my hands and Jack Buddy for good. He does get really biblical. It's very funny, honestly. I liked it.
I'm free to crush people not because I was told to, but because I want to. I will hunt the frauds and the arrogance.
Yeah, so
we'll see what they got for him.
Kind of interesting. Next up, we've got Stephanie Vaquer versus Ivy Nile. They're talking about Stephanie Vaquer, NXT champion, women's champion, how she's captivating the WWE universe. I don't know about you, but she's definitely captivating half of the C-Show universe.
She's really good. I haven't really seen much for stuff. I haven't really watched her wrestle in NXT. She's had 2 awesome matches on Raw. I hope they bring her up and they really just keep stacking out this women's division. Yeah,
absolutely. Stephanie with her, which I feel like is now viral, move, the Devil's Kiss, where she puts someone into a scissor leg lock and then flips them over and then thrusts their face into the match or into the mat.
Yeah, I would say that's about right.
Booker T goes on commentary.
She also hit that twice in this match, right before and right after a commercial.
Twice. The first time was a double-digit Devil's Kiss, and then we got another one after the commercial break. I don't think it was double digits, but very great. At one point, Gable puts Ivy Nile's leg up on the rope, but the ref doesn't see it, and I put Stephanie kick his ass, but Ivy gets a German suplex and rolls Stephanie back into the ring. And I think my move of the match was this superplex that Stephanie Vaquer pulls on Ivy Nile, who just sells the absolute hell out of it. She sits right up. She goes, oh, and you can see the stars, the moons, and the clovers spinning around. What was your move of the match, Connor?
The double Devil's Kiss we talked at the top. Getting it the second time was just so funny to me. Like, it wasn't even like what the move is. It's literally like, again, we've started to hear them say again. Becky Lynch listened to it last week. Later they do and don't listen to the again call. Unimportant. So the finish of this match is Vaquer hits her SVB. So picks them up like a pile driver, like you see Kylo in once. Kevin Owens, package pile driver where he puts you between his legs, right, and he kind of grabs your legs too, but she picks you up and slams you into like a back breaker, just knee to the back. Looks very painful.
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, Stephanie pins and wins. Hopefully we'll see more of her. Will she transition into Raw or SmackDown brands? Hopefully we will see her soon with some other new talent as well. Speaking of talent that's going to be on NXT.
AJ Styles?
No, say his name. Say his name. Joe Hendry's going to be on NXT tonight.
I thought you were trying to lead me into the next part. And I'm like, the next part is AJ Styles and Aldis. I know Aldis isn't going.
No.
Are you trying to say AJ Styles is bad, dude? Because only his opinions are bad, brother.
True. Yes. So AJ and Aldis are backstage again. Aldis stepping in for Adam Pearce Monday Night Raw. Aldis is talking about how he wants the Phenomenal One to make a comeback. Liv wants some time off because she's gonna make a movie. I checked on this. Usually on IMDb, if somebody's working on something, it'll have like upcoming projects. Unfortunately, on Gianni Daddio's page, which is Liv Morgan's government name, there isn't anything as of right now. So hopefully we'll get some more news on that. But that's interesting to see.
So according to Wrestle Talk, the movie is going to be revealed next week.
Oh,
so they're gonna we did exactly what they wanted. We Googled it and her and drove the numbers up, and they're just gonna tell us next week. We got work, dude.
We got work.
Dom also wants time off, and he's like, why? He's like, well, I'm the champion. I can do whatever I want.
And Aldis sets it pretty clear. Your request is denied. You're the champion. You need to set the tone for the rest of the locker room. And at this point, I'm just like, let's set up the AJ Dom match. Let's just get this over with. And Liv breaks up this encounter. I didn't really catch what happened there at the end of that. It kind of just fizzles out.
At the end, Judgment Day leaves, and Aldis and AJ just have another very short exchange where it's basically saying like we'll be seeing them. I put later, meaning last night or next week, right? I know it didn't happen last night, so I'm guessing next week.
Then we have Karrion Kross meets Sami Zayn backstage. Reminds Sami, hopefully you'll make the correct decision. Now we get Pat's spot, his segment here. Michael Cole wants to apologize at the top of the segment. Michael Cole, you do not need to apologize. You are all good. Again, Gunther is fined, suspended indefinitely. Pat just takes off his headset, stands up on the desk with the mic. He picks at his balls. He unsticks them from his leg.
My first note here was, another hot dog.
Nom. Pat starts cutting a promo. I went from being an irrelevant bum to being a sticky burr that Charlie can't remove from my clothing. Yes, he says, I hope I left the world a better place than I left it, and that I was a loyal motherfucker. Michael Cole was the greatest of all time. Do you want to know one of the pre-WWE stories that Michael Cole covered as a correspondent for CBS News?
Sure. Oh wait, he was in war, right?
The siege at the Branch Davidian compound.
Oh wow.
Yes. So Gunther is nothing. Gunther is nothing to the Branch Davidians compared to the Branch Davidians. Pat says, I will be loyal till I'm in the soil. Fuck that. If I die, I die. Adam Pearce, he says, Adam Pearce, please come out here. Aldis is in charge tonight. So Aldis comes out. Thankfully, he's in charge. Aldis, make it happen. I want to fight Gunther ASAP. Aldis proposes Pat McAfee versus Gunther at Backlash. Lock it in. There we go.
So, did you hear when Nick Aldis came out? He's like, Pearce lets chaos reign, not me.
Oh, yes.
Just takes a direct stab at him. Again, he says he'll lift the suspension for Backlash, then we go one-on-one. Pat says deal.
And I feel that's where Aldis shines as the GM of SmackDown, where he's like, hey, this is something where we can set this up and we can play this out, whereas Pearce is just like, screw it, let's just do it right now. It's interesting how they, honestly, when you think about it, Raw, what does Raw mean, right? It means just like fresh. It means uncooked, right? So it kind of makes sense. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
That Pearce is just kind of like, yeah, screw it, whatever. Okay, never mind.
No, like I get it. I just think he's bad at his job. I don't think it's in any way on purpose.
I'm trying to cut him some slack.
That's a generous read, brother. And
Yeah,
that ain't for me.
I know. I'm being very generous here.
So next we get a flashback to the first time that Cena and Orton faced at SummerSlam 07. I'm sorry, faced specifically in a title match. Again, starting to build on some of that nostalgia for, this next, about week and a half, just, a week and 2 days when y'all hear this.
Yeah, just starting to build that up. Are there any other important John Cena, Randy Orton matches that we should be aware of?
There have been a lot of them. A lot of them are very good. You should go online to someone who's smarter than me and actually already ranked them, and then still read through them because people are dumb, but it will point you in the right direction.
There we go. Great answer. Sami Zayn is still backstage, still ruminating. For a moment, we're like, who's gonna come here? Thankfully, it is Jey Uso. Jey reminds Sami that whatever decision you make, it's gonna be the best for you.
Such a nice kind of, heartwarming moment between them. Sami walks off. Jay's, he's thinking about something that's very important to him, right? They were together in the bloodline. Just a real feel-good moment.
And I actually jumped at this. Like, I almost fell out of my chair. Logan Paul comes out of nowhere and punches him in the head.
Absolutely tags him. And give it to Jay. Sells like he's dead.
Yeah, and Logan over Jay struggling. In our final segment on Raw on Monday night, we have Seth hanging out on the ropes, awaiting Sami's decision. Seth says, you're putting me in a difficult position, a tough spot. I thought I was going to get the same respect as Jey Uso. No one better to lead us than me. The fact that you don't believe in me, it hurts. This business is rough.
So Seth says, we've been friends for 20 years, and this business tears friends apart.
Yep.
Let me give you some advice. Take the pass. Sami responds with, I believe everything you say outside the ring in our friendship, but in the ring, I think you're playing games.
I think you're full of crap.
You are dangling what I've never had in front of me. You've never known me to run away. I will not be threatened. Go to hell.
I have been a target 1,000 times before. I will not be threatened. I will win a championship. I will be a world champion. It will be because I did it my way, the right way. This is me telling you to go to hell. The music starts. It's Braun Breaker. We go into Breaker versus Sami Zayn.
Great match. It was back and forth early. Both guys getting just like a little bit up on each other, but no one really like took control. Breaker did that flying clothesline over the announce table that I love.
Yep.
Sami does his tornado DDT. Always big fans of tornado DDTs on this podcast.
Outside of the ring, Breaker smacks Sami's head against the announcer table and then splashes him into the announcer desk. Is it wrong at this point when Cole says sacrificial lamb? I go, lamb. Sami gets a powerbomb and cover. He's getting his shots in. It's starting to get a little hairy for Heyman. But after a Breakensteiner, which is my move of the match, the straps come down.
Drop the straps.
Drop those straps. Rollins reminds Sami, it doesn't have to be this way. Take the deal. You can still get out. Sami tells Seth, go to hell.
At this point in the match, the ref calls for the EMTs. He's kind of like, hey,
Calls the medics.
Seth looks up at Braun in the ring and gives him the throat slit. Gives him the throat cut. Braun rolls out of the ring and revs it up and delivers another. I think this was the third spear to him at this time. And again, the super spear with him running all the way around the ring here.
The long way.
The long way. And then throws Sami back in the ring. The ref literally rings the bell, right, saying Sami is down. He can't continue.
Shout out to ref Chad Plotnick, who covers Sami and is like, ring the bell, ring the bell, ring the bell. And they ring the bell. They end the match. Rollins pulls Breaker away from the commotion and tells Breaker that tonight is his first lesson. There are people that deserve our respect, and he stomps Sami.
Sami made his bed. Let him lie in it.
This new trio stands defiantly in the middle of the ring, the medics chaotically running behind them. The show ends. The credits roll. Paul Levesque, Lee Fitting, the executive producers. Where do we go next from here? Some really exciting stuff. Again, we talked about this sort of being Evolution 2.0. Who else joins this group? What are they going to be called? Where do they go from here? Is there a title run for Seth Rollins here? Does John retain at Backlash? Who knows? We'll talk more about Backlash here in a moment on The C Show. All right, wrapping up here on The C Show. We're setting up for Backlash. After WrestleMania, wrapping up a lot of the story threads of WrestleMania. We're now setting up for the next premium live event, pay-per-view event, Backlash.
Formerly called WrestleMania Backlash. They used to literally just put that in the name. That's the point. It's basically like the next thing, the reaction, right? What's the backlash, the fallout from WrestleMania?
Wow. They're really clever, aren't they?
Sometimes.
So the 3 matches that we're aware of right now, basically all 3 of them were announced this weekend. So the first one that we're going to talk about here, the one that we just most recently talked about, was Pat versus Gunther. We talked a little bit about this off mic, but is there a possibility that they're potentially putting Pat in a different role? Are they going to be shifting things around, and this is the way they sort of cycle him out? Or is this an opportunity to further bury Gunther? What do they do with Gunther after that?
I hope it's an exploding barbed wire death match and Pat loses big style.
Yeah. We'll at least see one chokehold, sleeper hold.
At least
one.
I'm going to set the over and under at 2.5.
2.5. Okay, cool. We'll save that for later. It's on wax. Next up, we have a women's intercontinental title match, Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch. This is a mentor versus mentee match. This is kind of like, is this Anakin Vader 1 on Mustafar? Is this Anakin Vader 2 from the Kenobi series? Is this Anakin Vader 3 from A New Hope? Or Vader Kenobi from episode 4? Mentor, mentee, student is now the master.
Dude, if they want to do this heel Becky Lynch thing, she has to beat the shit out of Lyra.
It's got to be brutal.
She has to stomp the hell out of Lyra, and then Bayley's got to come in to protect Lyra, get her shot back again. Their final kind of thing. That's what I think they're going to.
I think that's the story. I think that's the story. I think you hit the nail on. And probably what is going to be the main event of WrestleMania
Backlash.
Yes. The main event of WrestleMania Backlash 2025, St. Louis, Missouri, May 10th, 2025. John Cena versus Randy Orton.
Faced a lot of times.
This could go either way.
They've seen each other a lot. I can't see them having Cena's title run stop that quick. That's always sometimes what I felt when it's like, but again, my perspective is very warped by the Roman Cody lasting so long. Like, that's so long for a wrestling feud. Like, yeah, but they usually like their champions to hold it for a touch. Like, I can't see them immediately taking it off John Cena. I would love it. I think it would lead to so many cool things. Again, seeing, and he's like, well, 17 wasn't enough. I'm staying for 18. And then he's like, now you have to keep me away from it until I leave. It's no longer I keep you. Now, literally, I just have to find a spot, which could be Money in the Bank and winning the contract and then using it to weasel his way in on his last day to try and be a champion.
Wow. Well, listen, we put those we put these predictions down on wax so that in a few weeks after Backlash we can go back and be like, well, were we right? Were we wrong? What happens in the meantime there? Well, listen, we'll be here on the C Show. Listen, if you've gotten to this point, again, thank you so much. We say it every week. Yes, thank you. Please rate, review, subscribe. Leave a comment on Spotify if you're cool, if you're hip, on YouTube as well. Make sure you're following us on social media. All of the handles are at the end of the show as well. C Show Pod on Blue Sky, Instagram, Facebook. We'll be back next week with more C Show. Connor, anything else before we wrap up for today?
I'm very excited. Again, they're not force feeding us. They're building good stories. I think there's good short term and long term here. Maybe this really is a renaissance. Maybe they're actually turning a corner. I don't know. We'll see. We've been in a good stretch. Let's see if it holds through Backlash.
Well, we'll see. We'll be here on the C Show. Thanks again for joining us on The C Show. Follow The C Show on social media. We're on Instagram, Blue Sky, Facebook, and YouTube at C Show Pod. Thanks to our friends Amir and Patrick for their assistance. The C Show is a production of 832 Media. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll be back next week.
Excuse me.